What's good, MGM fam? Alright, first and foremost, we have the Matthews Lifestyle Guys, and that's going to be only on Facebook. We did one on YouTube just to kind of show y'all that we're going to put it on Facebook. Make sure y'all click our Facebook link. It's the first thing up there. And make sure you guys follow the page and like the page, because we're going to be having more new good content coming for that. Make sure y'all follow our Snapchat. Malachi is on there. He's a star on Snapchat right now. And then our Instagram page where we post pictures of me, Mercides, and Malachi. So make sure y'all follow our stuff. And we see a lot of y'all that do it, and we appreciate y'all. We love y'all for that. So if y'all have any questions for us about life, the parenting life, oh good Lord, like y'all don't understand how hard this is today for some reason.
Parenting. Anything about what's been going on since we've had the baby, pretty much.
And these are not bloopers. This is going to be in it. It's okay though.
Let me get
it happens. My breath stink though. But
it's okay.
Neither of us brushed our teeth today.
Yeah.
Y'all look.
We in the crib. We ain't done nothing yet.
This is a horrible video.
We got up and we made this video for y'all so we could drop it today. So look, it is what it is. Video okay?
So far. I'm so.
But that's pretty much it. Tell them what they can do. How do they get an MGM fam?
Yeah. So make sure you all hit the notification bell in the comment below in the video that we're on. You know, hit hashtag MGM fam, and for any other videos, following suit. If you don't hear your name the first time, keep doing it. We'll get to your name. Like, we're really good at responding to people during comments. And we're really good at finding people and shouting them out. We're really good at that. I'm a stickler with trying to comment back to people. So right to the story. So it was January 25th. We had to go to the doctor for our weekly visit. And the week prior to the 25th, we went in and she wasn't dilated and wasn't nothing going on. Her cervix wasn't soft and nothing. It was just, she wasn't even pregnant. Nah, but I mean, it just wasn't nothing happening, and she was a little worried because it was a week before the due date, and she was like, "Oh my God, something needs to happen, or he's gonna come after due date." Me personally, I didn't care. I would have loved him to stay longer, unless it was on my birthday, which it still wasn't. So, go figure. I got nothing I wanted. He came earlier, and he's been a terror. No, I'm just playing. Now this boy cried a lot though. Oh my God, I didn't know he was gonna be such a crybaby. I'm gonna toughen him up when I can. I can't do that now because he's too fragile.
Story.
Anyways, right. Back to the story. So I start rambling. The week before that last doctor's visit, we were doing all kind of stuff. They said sex was a good thing to do, so we did that, and we did that to a point where I was tired of doing it. Honestly, we almost got into a fight about it. I was like, look. She was like, let's do it every day. And I was like,
I felt like he was getting used.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, I don't want to do it every day. Like, hold on. You got to understand, mentally, I'm not always there, sexually. So it's like, whoa. But we did it as much as we could. And then she also did some workouts. She was walking on the treadmill, walking around, bouncing on the ball, squatting, doing all kind of stuff to try to, get it started. And then, so when we finally went that last week, the day before he came, she was like, "Oh, you're dilated. You want to send me this dilated, And we was like, "Oh, hey, you remember you said that we can go and get an induction." The reason we wanted one was because with my job, I don't really have time off, and it's hard to get time off. And I wanted to make sure I was there and make sure she had transportation there, and not in a Uber or a Lyft or something like that, trying to get to the hospital in a hella traumatic state. So she called the hospital that we were gonna be doing the delivery at, and they was like, well, we don't have anything this same day, but they was like, well, we can have some tonight. And it actually was that same day. It was 6 o'clock at night.
They said they didn't have any rooms available.
Yeah, but it was 6 o'clock at night, so really it wouldn't went at nighttime. It was evening. So but they had a room available at 6 o'clock. We had to go, and we were planning a birthday party for me, but that clearly didn't happen. It happened that Sunday instead. But we were planning a birthday party, and we went and got some cake for me. Well, ordered a cake for me, and then we came back home and got our bags packed and got some food and headed over to the hospital. At that point, we got all, we got up there and we got situated in our room, very nice room. Willowbrook Methodist Hospital, shout out to y'all. I love your hospital. It was really great. A great experience for first time parents and us being by ourselves. It was really great. we got to the rooms. We had like all the nurses were great. Like that whole hospital was. If I were to do it again, even if I was like, if we were to move somewhere else, or we like were to be in Chicago, I would want to come back. Like it was a really good hospital. Like they.
You're gonna drive all the way.
No, I'm giving them their props, but like they were a tremendous hospital. The nurses were great, and the nurse came in. She was, you know, talking with us, laughing with us, you know, kicking with us, making us feel comfortable.
They was feeding off of Gershom's energy, though.
This is true. I was wilding out a little bit. I was having fun. Hey, I was having fun. I was enjoying myself. It was fun. You know what I'm saying? I was like, it's like a vacation for me. You know, I ain't got to be at the hospital. I ain't got to be at home. I ain't got to be this. I ain't got to be that. I ain't got to be at work. So it was great. So then it got down to the nitty gritty of the real thing that I really care about. She got changed. She got in the bed. They put the IV in her. And then that's when they kind of was running down the different ideas of how they can start the induction. And so that's where I kind of like, I'm gonna let her talk about it.
Pass it on over. Okay. So she was pretty much saying like, we're gonna start you off with this particular medicine. I don't remember what it was called, but pretty much they put it like on this kind of stick, like
a dick.
They put it on a stick.
Which looked like a dick. Go ahead.
Gershom.
I'm done. That was the last one.
It looked like a dick.
It rhymed. That was
okay. They put it on there because I'm not going to say it again so you can have your whole little... They put it on there and they inserted it into my vagina. Pretty much it was supposed to make my cervix kind of like thin out, which means that like it makes it soft enough for me to push the baby out. So they put it in. And it was doing that, but it also actually started my contractions. So I was already having contractions, but they were like more so like Braxton Hicks. And then once they started that, then I was like feeling contractions. And at first it was just like cramps, like period cramps more so. It wasn't anything intense or anything like that. Yeah, it was just like little pain here and there, but it wasn't like anything intense. So that was at like maybe like 8 o'clock, because we got there about 6:30, then we went up to the room about 7. By the time we got in and they started everything and got me all hooked up and all that, it was about maybe like 8 o'clock at night. So they put that in and they said, okay, in about 4 hours we're going to get you, you know, all situated and blah 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 blah. And we're gonna do the Pitocin, because the Pitocin is what was gonna start the contractions, but what they did, it was already starting them. So then my contractions started getting a little more intense, and they were monitoring the baby, and they were like, you know, his activity isn't where we want him to be and stuff like that. We want him to be happy and stuff. And
he kept like his heart rate, I think, or like the way that it showed it on the screen, like he kept dipping in and out. It was his heart rate. His heart rate kept dropping below a safe range, almost like. Yeah. It wasn't like it was like detrimental, but it was like they didn't like how it dropped for so long and then like came back up out of nowhere and dropped for so long. And now I get it. I definitely get it now. He's a handful. He was being stubborn. But anyways, no, he wasn't. I will get to why that happened in a minute.
But pretty much like they just wanted to make sure that before they started me on the Pitocin, because the Pitocin was going to like really get things moving, they wanted to make sure that the baby was fine and they didn't want it to be too stressful for him, and then like, you know, something happens, God forbid, like, you know. But they were like, you know, we're just going to hold off and see how this medicine goes and how it's getting things, you know, moving along, and then, you know, we'll see. We'll come back in about 4 hours and we'll see, you know, how the Pitocin goes. So the contractions were getting really, really, really intense, and it was like a couple hours had passed by. She was coming in and out, checking me and stuff like that, and so she kept checking me, and I was still like
between 2 and 4, I think. At that point.
It was like 2 to 4 centimeters, and she was like, you know, it's progressing along. Your cervix is thinning out a little bit more, and you know, it's doing its job. We may not even have to give you the Pitocin. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So she was coming in and out. She was giving me like, she was trying to give me different things to do, like to get it progressing. She was like, you know, if you want, there's a ball in there, you can bounce on the ball or do this or do that. It was starting to get really, really intense. Like after a couple of hours, the contractions were coming so like frequently.
Oh, mind you, there was no epidural at this time.
Right, I didn't have an epidural, so it was pretty intense. And like they keep asking you, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how was it? When it first started out, it was like a 1 or a 2, and then it was slowly getting to like a 3, 4, and at that point it was like I didn't even want to lay down on the bed, so I was like pacing back and forth, just like walking back and forth, because literally I was having the contractions every like couple of minutes. They were so close together at that point. It was just like, then I had to poop. I pooped like two times. And when I was on the toilet, like I was having contractions while I was pooping, and that was the most intense pain ever, because I was trying to like poop and push it out, and I was already like kind of constipated a little bit. And then I'm sitting there pooping, and it's like, it was just bad. But I was trying to push through. I really wanted to do a natural birth, and they kept coming in and they were monitoring him, and they were like, you know, he's not happy. His activity isn't where we want it to be, and it was pretty much the same thing throughout. And so it was getting to the point where I just couldn't take it anymore. They had checked my cervix, and I was 5 centimeters at that point, and I was just like, my pain level was like on an 8, and the thing that monitors like the intensity of the contractions, it stayed at about like 20, 30, and then when I had the contractions, it went all the way up, and at first it was getting up to like 60, and then when I hit 5 centimeters, it was like at 85. I remember it was like getting up there to like 85, 90. That pain was like excruciating. And then I was like, you know, I don't know if I could do this. I was telling Gershom, like, and I really like wanted to do a natural birth. And when I was talking to him about it, like, I kind of felt bad, because I was like, you know, I really wanted to do a natural birth, but like this pain is just too intense. And she was asking me, you know, did I want any pain medication or anything, because they try to give it to you at that point, because, and that's why she kept asking, because once you hit a certain, like if I was at 7 or 8 centimeters, I wouldn't be able. Nothing. No, not even that. They can't give it to you.
Well, I'm talking about the epidural. I'm sorry, the epidural wouldn't have done nothing.
No, I was saying like the other pain medication that she was offering. Once you can't get it anymore at a certain point, because you can go literally from 7 to 10 centimeters and then you're pushing, so they didn't want to give you anything like that. So I was like, I think I want to go ahead and get the epidural. And the doctor who did the epidural, he was about to go in and do a C-section, which was going to be another 30, 40 minutes, you know, maybe an hour, whatever. And so she was like, all right, I'm gonna go see if we can get him before. She was like, because once he's in there, and you're gonna be sitting here in more pain for another hour, so let me go see if I can try to get him in here. We went in, and like literally it was like no more than 5 minutes they had came in, and it was like a couple of people coming in, and they had
that was the only thing I didn't like. It was too quick to me. Like
they had to hurry up because they already had a C-section scheduled.
But that's the only thing that's the only thing for me that I feel like, I don't know, maybe next time we should have a game plan in place and try to stick to it, because it threw me off. I wanted to say something, because I was like, dang, I kind of just like. They threw me out the room, and then they do that all the time though, because they do that all the time because you don't want anything to interfere with that. Like, they're messing with my spine, so no, I get
they don't want anybody in the room. They want the person to be as calm as possible, as relaxed.
That was the only weird thing that happened that entire time. It was very odd to me. I was like, okay.
They always tell anybody in the room to leave.
No, I'm not talking about the leaving part.
But when you had left out, they had said they were like we didn't want to seem like it was rushed or anything, but we do have a scheduled C-section, and we want to, because they were like, this is going to be a quick process with you, we're going to do it, you're going to be fine, and this and that. And they had to hurry up and get back up there, because she went up there and she worked her magic to try to get him down, because he was about to go in and they had a scheduled C-section. So I actually liked that they came in and they rushed and they did it, because then I would have been waiting longer and I would have been in more pain. So they came in and they were like, you know, we didn't want it to seem like it was rushed, but we wanted to make sure that we catered to you and you were able to get whatever. And I was like, I'm cool, it didn't matter. I'm glad y'all here, let's just get it over with. So they pretty much numb me, and then they stuck like a little needle in, and then it like they put something in, and pretty much it was like shooting the epidural to, you know, whenever I needed pain. But they didn't tell me that I had a button to push, so the whole time I'm just sitting there, and it was just the one that they pushed in before. I would have been like, I think that's why I was still feeling a little bit, and I could still
put a lot in.
move because I wasn't pushing the button the whole time. I didn't know until later on when I was getting closer to it. But so they did that. Literally, she was like, all right, I'm going to do that, and then in about 30 minutes, I'm going to come back in and I'm going to put your catheter in. And I was like, okay. So she left. Gershom came back in. No, you didn't come back in. You were still out there. Did you fall asleep or something?
Asleep.
Yeah. So they were like,
they ain't called me in. They ain't called me in there. So I was like, I'm knocked out.
I didn't know. I thought she was right outside the room.
Why would I be right? Ain't no chairs right there.
Oh, I don't know.
I'd be right outside.
Because it was quick. They did it pretty quick, and then you could have came back in. So they did that, and then she's like, how are you feeling? I was like, I feel fine. She was like, it's going to kick in a little bit. You're still probably going to feel contractions, but it should kick in a little bit. And so she was like, I'm going to, you know, let you kind of relax a little bit. I'm going to keep checking your vitals and stuff. So she was like over in the little corner, like monitoring everything. And then she was like, 30 minutes had passed, and she put the, she was like, I'm going to check your cervix first and see how far you are and stuff like that. And then she was going to put the catheter in. So she stuck her fingers in, and she was like, you know, checking. And she was like, oh, she's like, you're 5 centimeters at this point. And then she was like, just like feeling around, and then psh, my water broke while her finger was in there. That was so weird to me. And it just felt like a warm sensation, like almost like I was peeing on myself. But it was like hella stuff, and it was like blood and stuff coming out too. And so
got on her hand.
I mean, she had gloves on.
Only to so far.
But here's the thing, like, she works in the birth center, so she's used to this.
I know, I'm just talking stuff.
But she was like, oh, your water broke, and then it was just like gushing out, and then so she had to like clean me up, and she was trying to put the catheter in too while that was going, because she was checking my cervix so that she could put the catheter in. And so pretty much my water had broken. She was like, oh, you know, it should be any time now. And so I thought that was him. Like, what? I was like, I know. But so they did that, and then Gershom came back in, and I was like, oh, you know, they're my water broke, blah blah blah. I'm 5 centimeters now at this point, and this and that. And so after they had did that, that's when his heart like really took a dip. And they were like, you know, we just gave you the epidural and your water broke, so he's kind of like freaking out. And so his heart rate was between like 130 and 150 like most of the time, and then it literally took a dip down to 80. And they were like, that's not good, you know, the baby's heart rate is supposed to stay between 120 and 160. And so
they had her get up and have to do different positions.
Yeah, I was like on my hands and knees trying to make sure that he was fine. And
also he needed to go into the face down, the head down position too. And
no, he was in the head down position. No, it was the way that his head was.
Well, yeah, he was in the head down position.
He was face down.
But he was like his
head was like this or something so like that. And it's funny because we pick him up and he's always like this.
They needed him to be like this,
like to be regular so they could put him out. But he was like, his head was like on an angle.
So that was another reason why they had to have her like do the different positions too.
Yeah, and so they came in, they put like a peanut ball between my thing and all of that, and this and that. And so actually I was at 7 centimeters. I mean, not 7 centimeters. Yeah. So I was at 5 centimeters, and then after my water broke and she had came in. No, I was at 5 centimeters when I got the epidural. Then when they came in and they checked again, before my water, when she was going like this, my water broke, I was 7 centimeters, not 5. I was 5 centimeters when I got the epidural. And then she came in 30 minutes later, and I went from literally 5 centimeters to 7 centimeters in 30 minutes. And then, so she was like, the baby should be coming anytime, blah, 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 blah. So the contractions were still coming and still coming and still coming. And it was about, I started hitting active labor at about 1 in the morning. Because I was in labor for like 11 hours. From that 1 to 2 when we had him, it was 11 hours. I mean, 13 hours. So I was in active labor, and she was like, you know, baby's not happy and this and that. you know, I still had that thing. The medicine was still kicking in with the contraction. So they were like, we're going to give you a shot because we don't want, they were like, if his heart rate keeps dipping, you're going to have to get a C-section. And I was like, Lord, please no. Like, I'm okay with stretch marks, but having that scar, like that's, I probably would have been hella insecure about that. And I mean, not even that, it's a surgery, you know what I'm saying? And the whole recovery process would have been totally different. Like I would have been like bed rest for real, because you can tear your, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
So I didn't want to get a C-section. I don't think any woman like wants to get a C-section, but if you have to get it, it is what it is. And I was trying to mentally prepare myself for that because I didn't know necessarily what was going on with Malachi, and I don't know why he was doing all of that. So I was like, man, you know, I think we prayed. We did pray.
Yeah,
we prayed. We sat there and we prayed, and we were like, and then my mom had prayed too, and I was just like, I just really hope that we don't have to get a C-section. And so they were like, you know, we don't want him to continue. They're like, your contractions are getting really, really intense, and it's putting a lot of stress on the baby. So we're going to give you a shot, and it's going to stop the contractions. So they gave me a shot in my arm, and so I still had the.
It really stopped it. I think
it did.
Did it stop?
It did.
Oh, it did stop it.
It did. And that's when I took my nap. Remember, we took a nap, and we were asleep for like 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, we were gone.
Yeah, we were gone, and I think that really helped because I was getting tired. Like I was getting so tired, but like my body was going through so much, and I was already tired. And I'm like, man, you know, if he comes and I'm pushing and stuff like that, that's already tiring. I didn't want to be like just dead to the world. You know what I'm saying? So that actually worked out. I was able to get some sleep. Then when we woke up, they were like, all right, we're gonna check him, you know, he's they let me sleep, and then they came in and they're still like, you know, his activity's still kind of, you know, up in the air, and
you do different like
they kept having me the hands and knees position was pretty much what they kept having me to get in, because he was like he was responding a lot better in that position. And then they kept putting like different balls in between my leg, and like because they were like, you know, we want you to, even though we have you in this position, we still want him to be able to continue working his way, you know, out. So they finally gave me the Pitocin. So they put it in the IV, and I was getting the Pitocin, and then the contractions started coming again. And it was about, at that point, because it was maybe like,
it was in the morning.
10 in the morning?
It was in the morning.
It was like 10 in the morning. Because they gave me the Pitocin, and I was still, you know, whatever. And then they were calling our doctor, and they were like, all right, what do you want? They were calling our doctor, and they were like, what do you want to do? This and this and that. Do you want to come now? And then blah, 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 blah. And she was like, just keep monitoring her. We'll see. And then they checked my cervix, and I was 9.5 centimeters dilated. And they were like, it's going to be time to go pretty soon. So they called my doctor. She came. And when she came like maybe like in 30 minutes after they had called her.
Very quickly.
And then she had checked, and she was like, okay, you're 9.5.
Pretty much when she walked in,
she was like, let's get it going. She was like, we can get you starting to push and blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right, cool. I was ready to go at that point. I'm like, look, I just want to see my son. So they, you want to talk about how you were feeling at that point? Because they got me up like this, and then you came around.
Yeah, it was like, do you want to help her push and this, that, and the third? And I was just like, I don't know why everybody assumed that, even at the hospital and just in general, like they were like, oh, you're gonna be one. You thought I was gonna cry? Never cried. I was more so fascinated than anything.
Yeah, he was like, wow, this is so cool. I was like, okay.
I was fascinated.
You're looking at my vagina.
Well, I wasn't fascinated with your like looking at your vagina, but more so the fact like of what was happening.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But you were like, but it was weird.
I like understanding things.
Well, so something new. Have you ever seen somebody give birth?
No, and that's what I'm saying. It was cool to see that. And so like I was like,
you never saw like a birth video like in sex ed?
Man, I saw like, that was like years ago, so I don't remember it.
Oh, okay.
I saw like that. It was that one. I think it's probably like everybody saw that one, you know, birth video in sex ed. But like it was so long ago, I feel old. Like I don't remember that. So,
true, that was long ago.
It was really cool to no. And you know what? They didn't show her thing. They
did with us, and she had a hairy. I was like,
they did. We watched the same one. Yeah, it was hairy.
Why did they shake her up before?
Yeah, it was hairy.
Everybody was sitting there like.
But that's what makes it hard. But it made it hard to see like what was going on because she was super hairy.
She was.
I mean, it was. Like,
they must have the same. They must show the same.
It was the same one. Yeah. It was the same one. She was stupid. I was like, well, what's this? And then you saw another piece of head coming out.
Then it like opened up and it was like, whoa.
It was wild. But anyway, that was years ago, so I don't really like. I didn't recall that video when I was going.
Luckily, I was ready. I handled everything. It was a couple of days before. So.
But so you know, they was like, you want to help her push, and so then we at first I had her. The nurse had one foot and I had the other one, and we was like we had her feet on our chest, and we were like when she pushed, we pushed towards her. She like pushed my legs up, and she pushed like towards us, and so that was working for a little bit. And
but he kept going back in.
Yeah, he kept going back in. But I mean that's just like kind of like law, like gravity almost, where like you push out almost and you're not all the way in, so you come back in.
Nah, he was being difficult.
I don't know.
They were like, "There's the head," and then it was like, "Oh, he's going back in."
But the first thing I noticed was he had a lot of hair. I was like, "Well, okay, that's cool." But then I was wondering, like, he looked like he had like Chinese hair, so I was wondering about that. But I didn't want to say nothing during that particular time. So I said, I'm gonna hold off and ask why he has Chinese hair.
But they were just like, he has a lot of hair. Yeah. I was just like, just get him out.
So then they had us like get like a sheet, and then she was holding the sheet, and then
they had two big knots on the end.
Yeah, so then the nurse was pulling back and forth, and they were pulling like playing tug of war type shit. And so then you know they was like, "Oh, does the dad want to do it?" And I was like, "Sure, whatever." So now I get to doing it, and I was trying not to hurt her, right? Because I'm thinking like, okay, well this is probably painful. And so I was doing it, and then she gonna tell my son, "Oh, the nurse is doing it better than you. You can pull a little harder." I was like, "What? What are you talking about?"
Then he was pulling hella hard. I'm like, hold on, Gershom, you pulling me off like
you
this.
trying to talk stuff. Like,
I'm trying to push out, you pulling.
She had everybody like laughing and stuff. I said, oh, okay, you gonna try to dog me in front of everybody. Watch this.
Hey, look, I was going through a lot. I was trying to make the most out of this.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, I will say this much before I keep going further. Like, she definitely like took it fairly well. Like, I mean, you know, it was tough, but it wasn't hard. I mean, it was tough, but it wasn't like she couldn't handle it. You handled it fairly well.
I only pushed for 30 minutes.
Yeah, she only pushed for 30 minutes, and he finally came out. And so the reason he came out, and the reason he was the heart rate was dropping like the entire time,
everything,
because he had the umbilical cord wrapped around his neck.
Yeah, it was wrapped around a couple of times.
Like and so I was supposed to be the one to cut it, but since it was wrapped around, our doctor, you know, she was quick with it. She was like, you know, because clearly like they can't breathe, so she grabbed it, she cinched it off, and then she cut it, and then like everything was cool. And you heard he cried at that point automatically.
Yeah, I was so confused because he came out and it was real quiet.
No, he wasn't quiet. No, it was very quick though. It was like give it like no more than 5 seconds. No, but
like when he first came out, usually they come out and they're like, crying right away.
But she said, you probably weren't paying attention. She was like, oh yeah, she was like, oh, the cord's wrapped around, and she went to do what she did today, and she did so quick, and then he cried right after that, and that was that. So that was the reason why he was and that's kind of really scary, because you hear about it all the time about cords being wrapped around children's necks, and sometimes it can be fatal, and sometimes, you know, it can be detrimental to their oxygen level, to their lungs, so they come out and have to be in NICU because they whatever, you know, I don't know. But it was kind of cool where he came out like that, but she got it, you know, situated. Shout out to Dr. Fulton, she killed it too. Like the nurses and all that, and the hospital killed it, but our doctor like low key killed it. Best doctor low key in the world. For that purpose, for those purposes. Yeah. And you know, she did that, and he started crying, and he ain't stopped crying since.
But they were like, do you want to do skin to skin? I was like, yeah. So they kind of like put him on my chest. They were like wiping him down a little bit while he was on my chest. He came out, he was like purple.
Yeah, he was definitely purple.
And he was like,
yeah, he had to get some of that oxygen.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was.
But he was like, I was just like, oh, I was crying, and I was like, dang, he has so much hair.
Yeah, and that's when I still was wondering why he had the kind of texture.
Gershom told us we got to get a DNA test.
I'm just saying, if that hair if he don't get a little more darker, and that hair don't get a little more,
he has light skin,
a little more blackish, like black people have. We're gonna have to probably get these.
But that's how my hair was when I came out. So, well, I was bald head, but like when my hair finally grew in, that's how my hair was. So, But he looks just like Gershom. They were like, this is your twin. They kept saying that. They were like, he looks just like Daddy.
I mean, he got my cheeks. We got both our cheeks. We both got big cheeks.
So I'm gonna insert a video at the end of this to show you guys like when he came out and stuff like that, and you know, just kind of how we were feeling and everything. Like it was very emotional for me. Gershom didn't cry. He was just more so like, wow, my son, you know. Cool. But it was just like, it was emotional for me because it's like, wow, I just pushed this person out. And with everything that had happened within those couple of days that we were there, well, those 2 days that we were there, throughout the whole labor, it was really emotional for me because it was like, wow, you know, we created this, and like, I just
for all the dudes, all the men, all the dads, I held it down for y'all. I held it down. I was calm the entire time. He was, though. He was really, and all throughout when I was having my contractions and stuff like that, he was like rubbing my back and making sure that I was just so comfortable, and I really appreciate that. I killed it. Yeah. Holding it down.
He hold it. P.O.P. Holding it down. Mama, I love you. If you guys have any questions about the labor and delivery, you can also comment them, and we'll answer them in the Q&A that we have coming up about being first-time parents. So, do you have anything else to add?
Nah, make sure y'all check out our other videos, man. Like, hey, spam our YouTube page.
Yes.
Check out all our
Hashtag #MGMFam, all of that. Like,
yeah, check out all.
Go on our Instagram, like our videos, like our pictures. Y'all, we're gonna have to wrap this up because he's finna get up. Yeah, it's time to feed him pretty soon.
See y'all next time. Peace.
Well, congratulations. That did not take long at all.
No, it didn't.
Man.
How you feel, Mercides? She's looking all emotional.
Oh, look at me. Look how cute I am. I think I look like my daddy.
Yeah. You can get the hair taken care of, though. The hair.
Oh, that'll go away by tomorrow, probably. But look,
he's big.
Just like you. He does. Look, he looks just like Daddy.
Oh, he does.
That's
hilarious. I know. It's okay, Mercedes. You bring them for 9 months.
You want to be on your skin?
I know. That's horrible. I have the same.
So what's that?
This is the afterbirth with placenta.
Oh, okay. You waiting on it to come out?
Oh, it's already here.
Oh.
All right, I'm ready for Pitocin.
Okay, Mom.
Yes,
wow.
She's just doing everything super fast.
We're not sending, right?
No.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You make my day. You're not.
Look at him. Wow. So the whole time, he was going crazy because it was around his neck.
Yeah.
He ain't like that. But he was cool though. He was cool.
No wonder why he took so long to recover.
Yeah.
He's a little trooper. You want me to go ahead and turn this off? No? Okay.